Hello and welcome. My name is Brian Caplen, editor of The Banker. I'm here with Silvia Pavoni, economics editor of The Banker, and we're discussing Felaban, which is the key Latin American financial and trade event. This year it's in Lima in Peru. And Silvia, you'll be jetting off to Lima shortly.
I shall be.
And what do you expect to be the main topics of discussion at Felaban this year?
Well, I think that the South-South trade continues to be very much an important topic, particularly for a country like Peru, which is now seeing China as the biggest export market. So in percentage terms, this represents an even bigger, has an even bigger importance than it does for Brazil. So obviously...
Is that right? Okay, so this is a big turnaround, isn't it, for a market like Peru, which you sort of have a historic idea of, maybe doing a bit of exporting in Latin America, but not being, on the world stage. So this really is a big transition.
Well, Peru is a country that has been getting lots of investors pretty excited about. They seem to be entertaining quite open markets policies, at least that seems to be the idea, even after the change of president, which at the beginning, a few people feared would have represented a shift more to the left, but it seems like the country is continuing on this path of really being keen of attracting investors and having pro-markets policies.
And obviously with the event in Lima, is the Peruvian government making a big fuss about it? Are they kind of laying out the red carpet to the delegates?
It seems like they are. So we are expecting to have a keynote address by the president, Ollanta. The finance minister also is scheduled to speak at the event, but obviously Felaban is very much a networking event. So there are going to be 3 days of presentations, but the key point of Felaban is actually bringing people together and having all these bankers discussing the possible relationships. And
okay, now you mentioned about sort of how Peru is starting to trade with China, but this is in the context of a much bigger South-South trade, as we're talking about it, which is obviously between different areas of the emerging markets, most particularly Latin America, China, or Latin America, Asia. It's something you've written a lot about. Give us a bit of a view on, how this has developed and where you think it might be heading in future.
Well, the South-South trade, as we were saying, is very important, continues to be very important. What's happening in China obviously has a big impact on anywhere else in the world, and so in the same way in Latin America. But we shouldn't really forget that the United States keep on playing a big role in trades with the region. So if for Brazil, Peru and Chile, China and Asia are becoming the most attractive trade partners, for other countries like Mexico or even Colombia, the United States remain the main exporting market. Okay,
now, there's been a lot of written in the press about whether China's slowing down or not, and the impact that could have on the world economy. What about the big economies of Latin America, like Brazil? That really has slowed down quite a lot, hasn't it? And that must have an impact on the region and maybe even the global economy.
It has. As we're saying, any impact on China will now have strong ramifications on anywhere in the world, and Brazil being possibly the ideal match for what China is needed at the moment in terms of commodities, obviously has suffered. But even with China growing at a 7.5%, which some economists are expecting, that's still very good. That's still an interesting, good growth that is going to help Brazil continue on its growth.
Okay, so we're waiting to hear your reports from Felaban. So my name is Brian Caplen, editor of The Banker, and we've been discussing Felaban, which is going to be in Lima in Peru, and there'll be a special issue of The Banker, the November issue of The Banker, containing special Latin American coverage for Felaban.